Hey, thank you for joining us on this episode of Diaspora Lounge. We're talking about love at first sight. A lot of us have heard the saying that a man knows he will marry a woman the moment he sets eyes on her, or there are lots of men who know that they will marry this woman just by setting eyes on her. This episode today, it is the movie Love in Every Word that is driving this discussion. What is your take on this? What would you say if somebody that is very dear to you came to you saying, this is their situation? This man met this woman and has decided that he's going to marry her. They just met. What would you say and why? And do you believe in love at first sight? What is it to you? I'm going to open the panel now so that we can get into this conversation without much ado. Thank you again for joining us on this episode. We appreciate your presence. Hello, Tony. Hello, Shaya. We are waiting for Bishop.
Hi.
Hopefully, he'll join us soon.
Hello.
Yeah. What do you say about this? What would you say about this situation, Shaya?
What is that supposed to mean? Why are you
All right,
starting with
Tony.
me?
What would you say? What do you say about
Shaya
love at
said
first
what
sight?
it's supposed to mean.
What was, sorry, Shaya. Okay, Tony, what would you say about love at first sight? And
Oh,
about a man saying, or the saying that a man knows he will marry this woman the moment he sets eyes, or rather when it happens. What do you feel about that? And what would you
Okay.
say to someone? Yeah. So just give us quickly, under a minute.
Yes. First and foremost, my understanding of love at first sight is that feeling, that euphoric feeling that one gets when you see someone that you're really, really attracted to, and you feel like there's some kind of strong connection, undeniable connection, whether felt, by just you or both of you reciprocated. That's my understanding of love at first sight. And if that's what the definition we're going with is, then I would say that a lot of us at some point in our lives have experienced that kind of rush of dopamine, oxytocin, that euphoria of feeling a strong sense of attraction to somebody of the opposite sex. So as a concept, like I said, a lot of us have experienced it, and I think it's something that is possible, but there's a caveat. I would like to put a caveat to it, that as much as that initial feeling of euphoria is good, it's important to give the relationship, and this is my personal opinion, also looking at my experience, what I know now compared to when I was much younger, it is better to give that feeling time and get to um, know each other better beyond that initial attraction, euphoria, infatuation, whatever it is we want to call it. Because that feeling on its own, I don't think that while it's enough to get things started, I don't think it's enough to sustain a relationship in the long run. So that's my initial view on the subject.
Share.
good evening, ma. Good evening, Tony, and good evening, viewers. All right, back to the topical issue, love at first sight. Like the love doctor has dissected the topic. I think he has done justice to it. You understand? There's a
Tony,
popular quote that says, love at first sight demands um, I can't say it the way it was because I think I just lost it. But whatever he's saying is that is like okay, yes, now I get it. Love at first sight is a journey, is a voyage. So it's a voyage, meaning that's just a sparkling, you understand? That spark comes to everybody. Beyond that spark, how do you sustain the light? but it's possible, it's attainable, it's sustainable, but it is another journey. It's just the beginning of a journey. So even that word love at first sight is that phrase is very hasty. You understand? It's conclusive, but then he has omitted the practicality of that process in it. If you get what I mean.
Yes, I
Did you
totally
get it?
understand.
I'm actually
Totally
looking at Uzo to give me a nod if she has gotten my point, or do I need to go
No, I
over it
really don't know
again?
what is your stance, is what I asked. What's your stance? What's your stance? So you believe
Okay,
in you
thank you.
believe so if someone came to you
Like,
and told you that this is their
like I
situation,
said earlier on, no, like the way the love doctor put it, it's a journey, it's a start, it's the
yeah,
beginning. You understand? It's just the beginning.
it's only the
So it
love.
is just like the start, that rush feelings, that dopamine, name it, that kind of a feeling. So it's just it happens. It's common. It's as common as it can be. But then what has happened? Look at the way, if you want to go in the line of Bishop's way, the scripture, the good book says, when Adam saw Eve, it was like, this is the bone of my bone, the flesh one. That's the attraction we are talking. That's the spark. But could they did they sustain that? Something happened along the line. So like it's possible. The possibility is there.
You're saying that the possibility of love at first sight is there. Okay. All right. I wish Bishop was here to speak for himself. I don't think it's fair. Anyway, so I would say that I guess the first thing that I would say is that one of the best things that would happen to us or to a person as a human being is to understand self-love. If you really have self-love, then you can begin to talk about loving another person. And we hear it a lot, but I think that it goes over our heads until you finally experience it. Then you will finally understand when you get the grace and you experience it. Because let me just say quickly, how can we talk about love at first sight, right? When when maybe it is some of us having a different understanding or concept of love. Because how can you say that you love somebody and you're ready to marry them when it also matters how that person feels, right? So you cannot really I don't think that it's fair to even say that and to start planning that you're going to marry the person, because this borders on selfishness, don't you think? I love this person, I've seen this person, I want this person for myself. How much
possess.
consideration am I giving to how this person might feel about this idea of mine? Because I don't know, even if I had a twin sister or a twin brother, they may not like the things that I like, that I value. Here I am, I now meet someone and I decide that we are going to make this happen. And then I throw myself into it. That's where I will start from.
I think your submission, Uzo, is very, very spot on, right? You started by saying the start point really is self-love. But then for you to love yourself, you first have to know yourself, right? So at the point when most of us were feeling that initial, I mean, when we were younger, okay, I'm speaking for myself now. Let me not generalize. When I was young, I bet that at different points in my life, I thought that what I felt for this person was it. And then I went on to feel that same rush of hormones and euphoria and all of that for somebody else, right? But then, did I know who I was at that time? Which I think is the biggest issue in relationships today, because a lot of us, at the time that we go into these committed relationships, we don't have a sense of who we are yet, and until we do that work of learning about ourselves, loving ourselves, and figuring out what it is that we want in a partner, until we do that work, we can't say we have got to a place where um, where we can be able to water those initial feelings that those initial sparks that we feel when we meet somebody that we like. Um, Back to the question that you asked initially, what would I tell my brother, my sister, my friend, if they came to me to say, oh, I met this person and I'm going to marry this person without, having taken time to learn about the person? I would first of all be happy for them because I hate to be like the one who, wants
The
to
party
spoil
pooper.
things. I will, party pooper, yes. I will be happy, that you feel such emotions, such strong emotions about somebody else. But my advice would be, while that emotion is beautiful and it's good to nurture it, it's important to give it time, not because you're waiting for it to wane, but because you want to get to know the person. And knowing the person is in different circumstances. The circumstances under which you met might have been the most ideal circumstance, right? Maybe this person looked their most glamorous. Maybe they were having the best of days. Would you love this person when you meet them when they are less glamorous or when they are having an off day? Have you seen this person in another environment outside of that initial environment? Would you love the person outside of that initial picture when you first met them? How does the person treat other people? How does the person treat themselves, really? How about things like hygiene? How about things like hygiene? How about worldviews, right? How about worldviews? How about spirituality? How about questions of finance? There's so many layers of getting to know a person. And the first meeting with the person isn't sufficient to learn all of this, to now come to the point that, yes, this is the bone of my bones and the flesh of my flesh. So my advice to anyone who would come to me, with that, initial rush of, I found somebody and this is the best, would be, hey, 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 this is a good thing, but please give it time and get to know each other first.
Yeah, Shaya, your face is hidden. Shaya, your face is hidden. Can you see that? Is
Okay.
the face hidden on your side, or is it just me?
Now what? Is it okay this way?
Yes,
Tony, is it okay?
yes, it is. It's the
Okay,
lighting. It's okay. His whole face is within the frame,
okay.
so it's the
No, it's
lighting.
my device then. Shaya, do you want to add more to it?
Anyway, I pointed out something when I started my pep talk. I said that when they say love at first sight, they did not include the process. That there's a process in between that time. You understand? I made mention of that. It's possible for you to meet somebody and on impulse for you to tell the person you are my wife. Yes, that does not mean that there won't be process. The process can be just for few months, it can be for weeks, but I'm saying there's still process. And then if we now consider the fact that some people meet themselves and then on impulse and they are connected and then we have seen okay, like one that I saw online, the Mommy Gio in quotes now was saying when she met her husband, he came as a friend, but she said the day that she saw him, she knew he would be her husband. But the man didn't know that. He didn't even know. He was like, okay, sister, and they were friends for good
Can I
3 years.
can I
What did he
quickly say
say?
something? Can I quickly say something, Shaya? Please don't. I don't want to interrupt. What I want to say is that we all know that there are cases like that. So we know there are cases like that where it works out. There are cases where it doesn't work out. So let's just talk let's talk generally now. What do we feel
And
about carrying that concept out and putting it out in?
that's what I'm
For
saying.
me, for
That's
me, I wish that there wasn't a statement like that. I wish that people would not be saying it because I
I
think
still
that
have
it's
my mic. My mic is still on. No?
because I want us
Or
to. I want us to not. Yeah.
should I off my mic?
Sorry.
Please
Okay,
go
sure.
ahead. Yeah, please go
Well,
ahead. We're
I was just
listening
trying
to
to
Now,
you.
this
speed you up.
is,
Speed
I
up.
am trying to tell you that they met, the woman have that feeling, and then she was able to master her feeling till the ripe age. That was what I was trying to tell you, that there was a process. But she got the feeling that was the moment she set her eyes on the man. Do you understand it? That's what I'm saying. That
Uh,
the spark does not mean it should go directly, as you understand now. If it's burning like that, whatever is burning with so much gas doesn't last. You get. But I'm saying after the spark, what next? There must be a process.
okay, let me ask you a direct question. You
Okay.
are a father. You are a father. You have children.
Okay.
Are you concerned about them hearing this and believing it? Love at first sight. Are you at all concerned about anybody that
Not
is
at
close
all.
to you?
Not at
Not
all.
at all.
Not at all.
All
Because
right.
I've seen cases of long courtship that does not work out. So it's not, there's like I used to say, there's no textbook, there's no blueprint, there's no formula for these things. We only try our best within the confine of okay, logic and then interpretation and then maybe analytic minds and then experiences. We just want to okay, okay, okay. You understand? That's what we do as human. And like I've said earlier, even the one that was orchestrated, masterminded by God did not work. So who are we that we
Wait,
are
how do you
working
know?
on?
Sorry, how do you know it was
No,
masterminded by God?
no. I said, look at the beginning. I said, let me toe the line of Bishop. That's not my line. I only borrowed the line from the old man's hand. It's a
All
pity
right.
that Bishop is not here. This is the area of his strength. He will have killed it this evening. But back to what I was saying from the biblical angle that even the okay, let's look at the good book. You understand theory. Even okay, just like people say the
Yeah,
democracy.
today you are going
Okay,
to bore the audience today, and I don't want you to do that. I don't like
I
the
will
way
try.
you're extending
Okay,
this.
you will see. No, now, so Holy Spirit is in me, and I'm working according to the Spirit. All right, back to what I was saying. Sincerely, like there's no logic to all these things. There's no textbook to it, but we only try. You
Tony, what
understand?
do you
Just
think? You
see
just said that
what
there's no logic to it. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, the question you ask about if I would love my kids, my daughter, my son, to hear this phrase, love at first sight, and to imbibe it. In any case, they are exposed to literature, they're exposed to the internet, they will hear it, right? But for me as a dad, my major concern and major responsibility to my kids are three, two main concerns actually: to love them and to show integrity, meaning that love them, of course, because they didn't ask to be born, right? And they've been given to me as gifts, so I should love them um, in every sense, in every way possible. And integrity for me is one thing I believe that I owe them, because the things that I say, I should be able to model that for them, so that what I am saying and what I am doing are not, there's no disagreement between what I am saying and what I am doing. If I have been able to do that, show them that love them, and show them through my actions how I treat their mom, how I treat the people around me, I think it wouldn't matter so much the phrases that they come by, because if they can see how I have treated their mom, or anybody at all, that I think will be something that I feel will be sufficient for them to be able to learn from, and then see how to treat other people as well. So I would not be so much bothered. I understand the concern about the phrase, because like we all seem to agree, there should be a process beyond that initial dopamine rush and feel good factor. You should be able to put that to test, like see if what you felt that first time in different scenarios with this same person, you would still be able to feel the same thing. So I wouldn't worry so much about them being exposed to the term, is what I'm trying to say. What is more important for me is to model to love them, like really, really love them, and show them through
Right.
my actions what it means to be in a loving relationship and how to treat someone.
Okay.
I, I have a question to ask you.
Right.
Yes, please go ahead.
If that if that is your story, I mean, love at first sight. If that happens to be your history, won't you relate such with your children to their kids?
That's a beautiful question. I like that. What do you want to say to it?
Well,
I actually have a note on
when
that.
when we share our experiences with our kids, for people in committed relationships like marriages, at some point you will tell them about how you and your partner, their mom, came to meet one another. And if that is your experience, of course you will tell them that, okay, the moment I saw this person, um, I felt this way about that person. But beyond that, I would go further to explain to them, especially given what I know now, um, about myself and what it means to
So,
be able to sustain a relationship for the long haul, not just, a short while. I will go further to then tell them that it's important, as much as these feelings are good and welcome, it's important to get to know your partners better before you make any serious commitment. That's what I can say about that. Uzo, I know you were itching to say something.
I was
all
itching.
right.
You felt my itching from here. Shaya, I'll allow Shaya to. I think Shaya, do you want to tell us
No,
why
I,
you're asking that? And
I
what would
feel
you
I
do
should, I
yourself?
feel I should expatiate on the question I threw out
Yeah. Yes.
to Tony. I
Yes.
was saying,
Yes.
if your story, let me give it to you this way. You're coming
Okay.
from the east. That's a very common part in this
He's
part of
not.
the world.
He's
You know,
not.
No,
He's not.
I'm
He's
not
not evil.
evil.
I'm not
He's
I'm
not.
not
blind
no.
now.
You missed
No,
it.
okay, good. I am saying the Igbo parts that our people from the east, the wise men
Oh,
Okay.
from the
okay.
east, they
Okay.
don't waste time. They will go to the village that month in that December time. By January, February, they are married. I have friends. My best friend is Igbo. I have a lot of them. So I am saying it's as common as it can be in that part. And I know that. Also, you can't argue that with me. We have facts and figures. I can show you the records there.
The
Now,
data.
my point is, you find yourself to the east. Let's assume you are Chidebere or whatever, not Tony now. You've gone to the east and you met Amaka inside the luxurious bus on your way, maybe back to Lagos, and you're like, oh, where are you from? I'm from Olu. Where are you from? From this, okay. Bam. I want to talk to my wife. And now, this is the product. You have good kids, you have good union, you love her, she respects you, and you have a
Okay.
blissful home. Look at that scenario. And you
Right.
are, in fact, you are you just like you are even thanking your stars that you met her, and you understand what I'm saying. And
Yeah, I
the
would
kids
love
look up to you more girls. So how do you relate that to your kids?
uh, how do you relate it to your kids? Okay, I
I
would
mean,
hope.
your daughter is like, I want my husband to be exactly like my daddy. And while your son is like, I want my wife to be
It makes no
exactly like my
difference.
mom.
Shaya, I think it
You
makes no.
understand that?
I would say that it makes no difference because let's not forget
No, the
that.
question is for Tony. It's for Tony. I want to hear from the
No,
male.
no, please let
Tony-
Uzo
I think Tony
answer.
already responded.
Let
No,
Uzo
no, no,
answer.
no. I don't put it into perspective when I was giving it to him.
But he
You
answered it
understand?
properly. He answered it properly too, even without that.
No question, please.
Huh?
I still want to hear from, yes. We
Because
are
you don't
coming to
want
your
Sheye,
side.
Sheye
no,
admits
because you
that
want
he
to
loves
bring
the sound
other
of my voice.
perspectives, right?
No,
That's
Sheye
why.
needs to admit that he loves the sound of my voice, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Okay.
No,
All
Sheye,
right.
Okay.
the answer is the same, right? If it is my experience, of course,
Okay.
I would proudly share my experience with them. But then
All the
again,
juicy parts,
story,
all the juicy parts without editing.
well, I mean, it's a feel good story, right? If you meet someone and, instant sparks, it's what romance novels and movies are made of. Everyone generally loves stories like that. So I will regale them with those um, tales, right?
Parts.
Because it's a good
Okay.
story. But
Okay.
again, experience has shown that only a few of the relationships that start that way are actually sustained in the long run. So
Okay.
even if that was my story
Have a
and I am
view.
happy to share it,
It's
even if that
debatable. That's debatable.
even if that's my story and I'm happy to share it with them, I would also make it the point of duty to let them know that not all relationships pan out that way. And
All right.
for you to be able to even decide that somebody is a good partner for you, there are several things to put into consideration. Earlier, when I spoke, I said that the circumstances under which you met that person that made you have that feel good feelings about that person, whether it is the shirt they were wearing, the perfume they were wearing, the way they style their hair, their
Tony, I
shoes,
think you like
how
my
they
shirt and
spoke,
my hair today.
how they spoke, and all of the myriad of things that might have elicited that um, feeling of attraction and euphoria in you. Are you still going to feel that same thing outside of that initial environment? For instance, what is their wake up face like? Maybe the day you met them, they were, all dolled up, makeup and all of that. When they wake up, do you still find them as attractive? Um, what are their habits like? What are their grooming habits like, for instance? What is their view on politics? What is their view on religion? Um, what is the view on money? What is the view on finance? There's several other things that are important to look at before committing to someone, especially for a long term relationship. So, as much as the feel good stories are good, and if that is my story, I would happily share it with them. I would make sure to also point out that not all stories pan out that way in the long run. And so, in order to be able to develop healthy, mutually respectful, long lasting relationships, it's important to get to know each other on different levels and in different circumstances first. I hope you've enjoyed the sound of my voice enough, Sheye. I would actually love to hear Uzo's perspective
I don't
on
think Shaya would like
what
for me to
they
not speak, but unfortunately, there's nothing he can do about it. Because it sounds to me like Shaya is a proponent of love at first sight. I don't know if you get that feeling, Tony, and so he's doing everything he can to hold that banner up to make sure that he flies that flag. But that flag needs to come down. It needs to come down with a thought to earth. You know why? Sorry, Shaya. that flag needs to come down, because here is the thing. Even if we take a measure statistically and we have more people succeeding with that, it's still a very, very dangerous, very, very dangerous path to follow, because of several things. Because here, in all the times that we talked about how do they look in the morning, how do they do this, how do they think about religion, how do they. I think that one of the most important things, and I think that you can agree with me, that when you're talking about love, one of the biggest things that we must keep in mind is the happiness of that person. It's the happiness of that person from that relationship that really makes anything make sense. Once that is not what is foremost on your mind, right? Because the happiness of that person is what is going to make the relationship worth it. And when I say the happiness of that person, I also mean that conversely, for them, it is your own happiness as well, right? So if both people are feeling this, but the moment that you say that I saw that person and I fell in love with the person, and I know they're going to look good in the morning, I know they're going to agree with me in politics, in religion, and all that, you haven't thought about how they feel, right? You need to give the person a chance. The way you're feeling is only half of the equation. So the other half of it is, what are they looking for as well? I can have seen that person and I like everything about them. I don't even care if in the morning they stink. I still know that I want them. But what do they want? So we can't approach love unless we have to not be selfish about it. It's not about what we want. It's about, it's about what
Very.
it's about what we want and what will work for both of us, right? Because even if I'm going out and I'm just thinking of what you want, right? What you want may also not make me happy. So it just doesn't make sense, which now takes us all the way back again to the basic rule of life. Do you know that the basic rule of life for us as human beings, and this is where whatever you want to call me after this is where we miss everything. Honestly, if every time that we're dealing with the next person, if we always remember that I matter as much as you matter as much as I matter. I think that is the beginning and end of everything. Even when we're
No.
saying that we love someone, if I'm saying I love someone and all that I'm thinking of is I'm gonna do this to make them happy. I'm gonna do this to make them happy. You can still be wrong, because everything you're thinking of doing is what you think.
Will
This is
make
what
them
you
happy.
think is to make them happy. Do you know?
Hmm.
Do you know if that is what they want? And then when they now reject it or anything, you feel like after everything I did for them. But no, you were being selfish when you were doing those things. That's the thing. That's what we haven't really evolved to understand, right? And so I really hate to hear that thing, love at first sight. Honestly, when I first started this journey, I used to
Can I
think that
say
I could,
something?
I used to think that I
Can I
could
say
help. I used to think that I could help so much. I could help young people and all that. But I've come to realize that no, 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 no. You are not going to help or change anything. You're only just going to speak the truth, and hopefully, because even if you told young people, don't do this, they're not going to listen to you until they enter it and they experience it. And then they will come to realize that you cannot just talk about love at create a relationship based on love at first sight, because your personalities matter, right?
Okay. I think Shaya is itching to say something. Shaya, please go ahead.
You see, I remember last week that we had one conversation. I was talking about being politically correct, and I was now talking about being Brazilian, outspoken, and then bearing all the consequence. I think that is my nature, and I'm ready to go to toe that line today. Now, you were saying something. You were saying you do not want to hear about love as first sight.
No, it's
You can
poison.
erase
It's poison.
what? Wait, that is hasty generalization of facts.
Yeah.
To those who are, we are all products of our environment. We are products of our environment. A whale has never seen a camel in its life. They will never cross paths, and both of them are in the same world. They don't know that the other one does not know the other exists. And then there's nothing you can tell them. They want to argue about. In fact, they will argue it with.
No, but
As a matter of fact,
I don't think that it doesn't happen. I know it happens. I know many people that have lived many years
That's what I'm
together
saying.
based on
That's
love
what
at
I'm
first
saying.
sight.
Now, this is my point. That's what I'm saying. That look at our forefathers. It's so simple. Here is times have changed. I am not trying to take us back to the Stone Age. But then all those things that they call Stone Age or those practices still supersede whatever we have now. But I'm saying my point is this. They usually like, okay, man, woman, they will be together. Because to a man, the love language to a man is respect. Every other thing does not matter. I mean, secondary, those other things are secondary. I am a man, I know what I want. If you like, shake your head to the eternity. Ask
But you don't
Tony.
know why I'm shaking my head. You don't know why I'm
I
shaking my head.
have seen the new hair anyway. It's beautiful. I should have given you that since morning.
All
Now,
right, thank you.
Tony, the love language of any man is respect. You understand? Sometimes the
Shaya,
love language of a
you
woman.
talked about generalizations before. Aren't you generalizing?
Okay, what's your own love language? Let's start from you. What's your love language?
I actually do not have one. I have several. And then I
Oh,
don't
Okay,
think that for men and for women, it's so different because
it
women
is.
want
It
respect
is.
it
as well,
isn't
I'm coming.
Shay.
I'm coming.
amongst
All right.
several
All
other
right.
things, you
Anyway,
know?
maybe we have to take that wing the other time. Maybe next time we take that wing. But for the benefit of this discussion, what I'm trying to say is this: it is very difficult for you to tell people that have seen it work over and over.
Nobody's arguing it. You're on the wrong tangent, Shay. We're not
No,
saying that it hasn't happened
Shaya,
successfully. I think you're missing what we're
yes.
saying.
May I say something from what I understood?
All right.
Shaya,
No,
I don't
it's
want
a
to cut
case
you
of
off, but
Tony. It's a case of people running from guys with tattoo, Yahoo boy, guys with crazy jeans, and running onto pastor and imam. And those imam were actually killing them,
guys
sacrificing
we
them.
are
Those are the common things now. It's the same process. I want somebody, okay, take for instance, any woman will want a very gentle, easygoing, soft spoken, then well built,
What?
maybe, fat pocket and whatever. They want a very calm guy. Some women, majority of women will prefer that anyway. Now, what now? Now, my point is this: if you have all that as your target, most of them will end up marrying somebody else. Yes, sometimes you have your own target that you have written. All of a sudden, what happened to that? The agenda that you have written, that okay, these are my,
this
let me
tech,
tick this, cross the line, cross the tally, no dot the line or whatever. All of a sudden, you're not dancing to what we are. The most important thing, I just think, when you find friendship in somebody and you can sustain that friendship, I think it will go a long way.
okay,
So
may
that's
I
just
say
my
something? Because
okay.
yes,
Okay.
because I quite like what Uzo said, and where she's steering this conversation to, because
Okay.
most times love at first sight, um it's
Did you
one
say more
person,
time?
like,
Did you say more
no,
times?
like, no, Shaya, let me land.
No,
Let
did
me
you
land,
just say more
right?
times or sometimes? Oh,
Love at first sight is like the movie that we're using as case study. For instance, this Odogu Parara saw Chioma and decided that you are going to be my wife. What Uzo is saying is she may have met everything that he idealized about who his wife would be, but does he meet that for her? So our point is ab initio saying that I'm going to marry you only based on how I feel about you is selfish, because I have not taken into consideration whether or not you feel the same way about me. if I met or the criteria for you, do you meet the criteria for me? Have you thought about that before you just came and say you are my wife?
Has, has,
So
has it been
as a
working?
starting point, as a
Has it been
starting
working?
point, I think Shaya, I'll be done in a minute. As a starting point, I think I appreciate the flaw that Uzo is trying to
Illuminate.
highlight in that approach, right? Because a truly loving relationship isn't about possession. It's
Hmm.
people, about two people reaching a point where they feel that for each other, for X, Y, Z reasons, they feel, not feel, because when you say feel suggests a void. And I don't like viewing relationships from the point that one person is not complete and then you need another person to complete you. No, I don't like looking at relationships from that lens. But this person fulfills you, exactly, fulfills you, and you fulfill that person, you make that person happy.
Fulfillment,
If this
fulfillment
happiness
is a
and
function
fulfillment
of
is
void.
not both ways,
Fulfillment
if it
is
is
a
not
function
both
of
ways,
void.
All right.
if it's not both ways, then I understand what Uzo is trying to say about that, stance being a rather selfish stance. That is actually worth looking at, because you cited the examples of our ancestors. The women then did not have a lot of choice. They didn't have
They
a
didn't
say.
have,
The
they
women
didn't
weren't the
have a
one
choice.
choosing. It was the men that were choosing. In fact, at some point, in some places, they will line up all the eligible maidens, and then the bachelors will come. See the video of Ogechi now. That Ogechi, Gama. Sure, you saw the video. The town crier went and
Oh,
said, "Oh,
Bishop is here.
all the maidens, come, oh, the eligible bachelors are in town, and they are going to select um, their wives amongst you." The women usually did not have a choice in that matter. So even if our ancestors, our parents, stayed in those relationships for as long as they did, can we say, especially for the women who did not have a say in the choice of husbands that they had, can we say that they were truly, truly happy, or they only persevered in the marriages that they were in? Just something to think about, Shaya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bishop and Shaya, are you able to turn your devices so that we can have you feel the screen? Yeah.
Yes,
Shaya,
good now.
Bishop, can you turn
Both,
your
both
device
are.
so that you can feel the screen?
Can I do what?
Can you turn your device so that you can feel your screen? Can you
He,
turn
ha-
turn?
he had done it and it was fine before, Uzo. I think your view might be
Oh,
faulty.
my view is
Yes,
faulty. Okay,
Bishop, you
okay.
need to turn it
He's good
the other
now.
way. It's upside down. It's upside down right now.
Oh, really?
Oh, it looks good to me.
It was upside down. Now it's sideways. It needs to go
Back
another
again.
90 degrees. Yes.
90 degrees.
Is it 90 or 45? No. Okay, now it has to go 180.
180.
180. It has to go full 180. Yes. Yes. Perfect. Perfect.
Wow. Perfect.
Welcome, Bishop.
It looks sideways to me. Shaya, how does it look to
Am
you?
I okay?
It's upside down.
It
What?
is straight. It's straight to me, or Uzo. I don't know what you're seeing. Shaya, is it straight to you or is it sideways to you?
I'm
It's
so
because
sorry. I'm so sorry.
automatic.
I'm coming very
The way
late.
I found my whatever.
It's
I'm
good.
only seeing you guys.
It's good.
Can
Both of
someone
you. I
hear
can't
me?
even see myself.
It's good.
Oops.
We can hear you, Bishop. We can hear you. Welcome.
Why is it looking black to me?
it's your view.
Yeah, something is wrong with
It's
my
okay
view,
from
but
here.
okay,
Yeah, it's
right.
okay from here, Uzo.
Yeah, okay, that's
Uh,
fine.
Good.
I'll be
uh,
watching it from another screen. You,
Uzo, Uzo,
yes,
something is wrong with your view, obviously.
yes,
You agree,
but
right?
okay, yes. No, my view
Okay, good.
of my screen, right? Not my view of what I'm
No,
saying,
your
because I know
view,
that's
your
what you
view.
mean. You're very naughty. Right.
Oh,
So you know what,
okay.
Shaya, don't
No, no,
misunderstand, right?
I'm coming.
Because I think
I
that
wanted to.
Shaya appears to be a very happily married man to the woman that he set his eyes on and decided that this is love at first sight. But guess what? Even if that is my experience, right? I still have the responsibility to understand that I cannot preach it to people because preaching it to
How come
people
I'm not hearing anybody anymore?
preaching it to people, the
We can
personality
hear
I
you,
of
can't hear
sir.
anybody. What happened?
We can hear you, Bishop. We can hear you.
We can hear Bishop. Oh. You can hear us.
Shaya, somebody said a very bad idea, this love at first sight statement. Forget those people who don't think of real life. And then somebody said it could also be the other way around. I knew my husband would be my husband the first time I set eyes on him. So here is the
You
thing.
know,
When you
that's
have that kind of
why.
experience, what?
That is, see, my point is this. Let me even sum it. Let me sum it up now. My point is this. Like I used to say, there's nobody with 360-degree knowledge of everything or anything. There must be reservation.
Nobody is arguing that these things don't happen, right? Nobody's saying they don't
Yeah,
happen. But,
no, what
but
I'm
we're
saying is
saying
this.
But I
that's
can't
a
hear
source of
anybody.
love.
One is not one is not important than the other. Do you get what I'm saying? Where is Tony now?
He's
I'm
here.
here.
Oh, you are lost, Abby.
No, something
So
is wrong
my
with what
point
we're
is,
saying.
no, my point is this. This is what I want the syllabus to be. All right. This is good. These are the dangers, the merits, and the demerits for love at first sight, nurturing love. These are the
I
dangers
don't
of
know what
it.
the
These
problem
are the
is.
merits. These are the demerits. That's just the way to present it. Not creating one funny phobia because we don't know. People
Nobody.
have different experiences.
This is your opinion, right? And everybody's entitled,
Yes,
and you're
yes.
perfectly right. You're perfectly right in this your opinion, right?
This is my
However,
opinion. Yeah.
However, yes, if I have an opinion and Tony has an opinion and you have an opinion, and there is one that is going to present danger for people, that is why we have this platform for us to reason.
What's the danger there?
The question on the
What's the danger?
side,
What's the danger?
if you don't see the danger, then there is nothing more that
No,
I
you
can
don't get
say
what I'm saying. Did you get
because
what I said? I
you are-
said thorough analysis of the two school of thought.
we
That
can't
is
do
the
that.
way.
Shai.
That's the
We've
way it
done
should be
that.
in any school, right?
That's
Tony,
what
am I
we're
right? Am I
doing.
making sense? Am I
That's
making
what
any
we're
sense?
doing. That's what we're doing, but we can't leave it there if we decide that there is
No,
one
no,
that portends
no,
danger
no.
and
Wait,
the
oh,
other does not
wait.
portend danger.
Any parent, any right-thinking person will naturally plunge to your own school of thought. Any right thinking person, yes,
Oh, you said
will
that?
naturally be suited to your school of thought.
Why? What do you mean by that?
What I'm
Allow us
trying to
to
say,
understand. Yeah.
what I'm saying is a logical mind will want to explore your defense. That okay, if you are meeting somebody, don't be in a don't be too hasty, don't let the chemical reaction push you, calm down,
Okay.
have a
And
process.
now that you've said that, can I just say something? Now that you said that, Shay, don't forget that the reason why the platform is here is because those are the things that we want to highlight. You're not going to come here and highlight the things that you know what you're going to do in your bedroom. They don't know your thoughts. They don't know that
No,
you're
no.
going to
But
they don't
that
know
does
that
not
you're going to
mean
do extra analysis. That's why we're doing it in public.
what of Bishop? Where is Bishop now?
He's probably going to come back. Oh, he's there.
Uh-huh. Please allow him to come in. Let's borrow leave from the old man's hand.
Bishop didn't. I'm going to tell him that you called him an old man.
Ah,
Welcome back,
it's
Bishop. Can
Bishop
you
now.
hear us? Can you hear us now, Bishop?
Because he's Bishop.
I think it's time.
Huh? Can you
Hello,
see him?
Bishop.
Because I can't see
Welcome,
him.
Bishop.
Something is wrong
Can
with
you
my
hear
interface.
us?
Something is wrong with my interface. Bishop, you are good, though. You are good.
Yeah, Bishop said he can't hear us. We can hear him,
Okay.
but he can't hear us.
Okay, that's why he had to leave. So, while we are waiting, right?
Welcome,
So
Bishop. Can you hear us?
it appears that he can't.
He can't hear us still.
He can't. That's
Um,
why he's not responding.
um,
Okay, so
may
Tony,
I
you see
try to
where Shreya has.
clarify this position why you maybe private message Bishop? Just to clarify again, Sheye, this is not to say that there aren't those relationships that people meet each other and strike off something immediately and it ends up in marriage and goes on to become like
And
years
it's
of
a fluke. It's just luck. That is based on luck.
successful, right? It's not to say that that does not happen because everything is not like logic. Everything can be logic, but we're saying that in most of the cases, that view does not take into consideration what the other person feels. It's almost like I see you, I want you. That's all that matters. It
Shreya is
doesn't.
out of the studio. Can you see that?
Yes, I see that is out.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what the other person wants. I think it's a very, very important point of view to highlight, Uzo, because most of the times when we talk of love at first sight, we generally do not think from the perspective of the other person, because most of the time it's one person, especially like the movie that we're using as our case study. One person, a man. Somebody in the chat box said yes, she also saw her husband, and she was like, yes, this is the person I'm going to marry. But it's usually like one person who sees this and decides, I am going to have you. But how about the other person? Do they feel the same way? Will they be happy with you, even if you have determined, due to whatever factors, that you will be happy with them? Do you think that they will be happy with you? From that angle, I can see why uh,
They are always
that
happy. They are mostly happy. They jump at it. They accept it gladly. It's like a
You know,
parcel.
another problem with it. The thing is, when we make a statement, right? If you go out and say to someone now, I'm going to take you to dinner, or I'm going to do something, the fact that you've voiced something, right, already puts both of us on that expectation. Do you understand? So now we already put ourselves on notice and under pressure to meet up to that statement. And then because we're human beings, we get laser focused. Once I make that pronouncement, if I meet somebody and I say that thing, I'm going to automatically be working towards it, even when he shows me different things, because my mind has already first. There's that I don't. There's a what should I call it? Whatever, right?
conditioning.
Huh? What? Yeah. No, my mind has
It's like
already
some
accepted this as a fact. So when I start
mm,
with him, and this is one of the things that I say that we have to teach our children, right? When you start a relationship, we're not supposed to decide that this relationship is okay, it is now both of us. We are now exclusive. Because the moment that we do that, which is what a lot of us fell into, like people that are being pushed into the Red Sea, right? You start that relationship, you already accept yourselves as we're exclusive and we're heading here. And what happens is that when the problems start to rear their right, when different things start to rear their heads, we will just take it that okay, we need to solve it. We need to solve this one. We need to solve this one. We need to solve this one because we're already working on a premise. Whereas that's not how life is supposed to be. That's not how relationships are supposed to be. Our relationships are supposed to be that I meet you, Tony, and I meet
yes.
Bishop, I meet Cheyenne, I meet all of you, right? And I do not become exclusive with you. I don't become exclusive with you. I don't decide to start working on a premise. Because when we have problems when we're working on that premise, all of them, everybody, friends and relatives will start saying, oh, let's solve it. Let's find a way to solve it. Maybe some of these things should not be solved. Maybe they should not be solved because maybe we need to understand that we're not ripe for a union, right? So we need time. Relationships need time. We need time to marinate the relationship, to even to break up and even to scatter it, and then meet several junctions ahead when we are better equipped to handle the relationship as a union. But we're always in a hurry. And love at first sight is not even in a hurry. That is just like it's a what? It's a bomb. I
Yes,
think it's a
I,
bomb.
I agree. I agree with you, Uzo, and I think Shea used a word that I think is important: friendship, and I think that's what you tried to say, because you can be friends with these different people without being like committed to one person, and then friendships can fizzle for
Mhm.
different reasons, and it's okay,
And
right? Some
reignite. They can reignite. We need to stop being afraid.
Yes, some friendships are meant for a season, right?
Hmm.
And once they serve their purpose, it might be done. And like you said, it could also reignite, but we can't box ourselves from the word go into
Very
uh,
dangerous.
into a relationship when we have not even explored first and foremost who we are, and then got to know the other people to the point that we can say that they align in terms of our values, worldview, and several other considerations for a sustainable, lasting relationship. So I agree with you. The important thing is to build first a friendship, and it is only in the friendship that we'll begin to learn, you know, the things
Whether
that
or not.
we like, whether or not we're compatible. It is only when we start to build a friendship. But we can't say, oh, from the beginning, this is, and be fixated on it and put ourselves under undue pressure to just fit into that box and make it work by hook or by crook.
It's
We do
very
not
sad.
need
It's very
we do
sad.
not need that kind of pressure. We need time to be able to get to know ourselves, get to know our partners, before we even decide to go into committed relationships with anyone. Bishop is with us. Can you hear us now, Bishop?
I am hearing you. What
Oh,
I don't know
finally,
is if you're hearing me.
finally,
Yeah, we
finally, we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you. Welcome, Bishop. Welcome.
I had to leave and then come back.
Yes, we saw that. We
Okay,
saw that.
welcome.
It was like
Sorry.
Thank you.
we could hear you, but you couldn't hear us.
Yeah. Okay.
So Bishop,
Yes.
tell us your view on this.
Well, from the moment I came back, I was listening intently to know where you're headed to. And I'm under serious temptation. Yeah. I'm under serious temptation because I don't want to come and destabilize the direction, one, but I must be biased in favor of my constituency.
Your constituency. And
Oh,
Shaya said it's okay.
yes.
Shaya is here.
Oh, yes. I mean, it just, that's how it works.
Where is he? Oh, he's out again. Okay, so tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going back to where we started from the last meeting, and that is that
Shaya
the
said it.
challenge, the challenge remains our point of reference. If
Oh
your
my
point
goodness.
of reference is the Quran and my own is the Bible, those books teach us principles by which we run lives. Now, because I am from the Christian Bible, I'm avoiding the word Christian. let's leave it so that we can move forward.
No, we know that, but we know it's not going to be the same unless it's not going to be the same.
It may not be. In fact, it's
Okay.
usually not.
Yeah.
Now, in the very first place, we're discussing love at first sight. The question is, what is love before we start talking about first sight or first meeting? Is love that fleeting feeling that a young
Mm-hmm.
boy develops, that butterfly like feeling that a young man has when he sees a girl he likes? Is that love or lust? Now, what do we define love as? From my point of view, love is kind. Love is gentleness. Love is large-heartedness. Love is not being puffed
Gentleman.
up. Love is not being self-centered and selfish. Love is believing the best for the next person. All of these things are clearly written out in the book of First Corinthians, chapter 13. Love is kind.
Hello, can you hear
For
me?
us,
Welcome back, Shaya. We can hear
Yeah,
you.
you're
We
here.
can't see you,
Sorry.
but we can
Okay.
hear you. Bishop was just expressing his view on the subject. So we're
Yeah,
listening, Bishop.
I heard about Ephesians.
He's still talking, yeah.
Okay.
Corinthians, not the he said Corinthians, right?
thank you,
Is it
thank you very
Corinthians?
much, Tony. Yes,
I thought it was Ephesians.
it's Corinthians, I said.
I heard Ephesians.
All right.
All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
love, the nature of the God we serve is love. The character of somebody walking with God is a continuous effort at becoming more like Him, being a man or woman that walks in those principles. When I see Uzo, what comes to my mind? Am I kind hearted towards her? Do I consider her views? Am I subjecting my feelings and my everything about me concerning her to a place of knowing that I put her first before myself? That's the nature and that's the character of God. And that is what we in the church define love as. Now, let's go a little bit deeper. There is a book that most of us who are pastors or preachers or, read in social sciences. There's a certain lady called Tim LaHaye, who is a social psychologist. And they went into analysis of what the world describes as love. And they broke it down into agape, eros, phileo. These are now levels in the game called love. Agape is the first level of love where a brother has for a sister in the church nothing other than agape, God's kind of love for everybody. Now you move from agape, you come to phileo. Feelings begin to come in. Now you come from feelings, you get to eros, eroticness. I mean, you're now beginning to talk about getting physical. Now, these are gradations in the concept of this thing we call love. Now, when you now bring all I have said so far together and you bring it to bear on the conversation about when I see a lady, can I feel like marrying her? Immediately, you can already see the fundamental error in the construct of the conversation. That's why I said I don't want to destabilize the flow.
But Bishop, before you came, sorry, I don't want to cut your train of thought.
Yes.
Shaya made reference to a a preacher, a lady preacher, who said that the moment she saw her husband, she knew that this was going to be a husband. You know, and this is a lady preacher. What do you have to say about that?
What's her name?
Shaya, I'm re-echoing what you had said, though, if you can hear us.
I can perfectly.
What's the lady's name?
And this is
I don't know
just
her
for
name. I know it
Okay.
was.
academic purposes. Academic
It was.
purposes.
No, it's not. It's not. It was a redeemed pastor's wife. You
All right.
understand?
Let me tell
And
you
they
my
were
own
having
story.
this
Let me tell
single
you my own
and
story.
double all these seminars.
Let
So
me
it
tell
was
you my
true
own
that
story.
the wife came out and talked about that.
My
So
own
that's just
story confirms. You don't need to quote her. My own story confirms that. Let me tell you my own story. I was I was in a church in Ikeja. In fact, that church was saturated with very young, dynamic, and that kind of setting. This was around 1986. I couldn't find anybody. In fact, at a point, they were telling me, they said, Brother Osai, how come you have not seen any girl that meets your standard of who to marry? I left there not feeling like talking, not one single person. And I'm talking about a church of almost 3,000 people. And then one day, if you know where Wahum is, I was standing in front of that company called Wahum, and I saw a 505, sky blue colored 505. He just drove by. I saw a lady sitting in the front, and I heard a voice telling me that is your wife. I then began to look for who is the owner of that car, who is the lady that is in front of that car, and eventually I found out, and I went to discover where she was working. Then she was manager export import in Eco International Bank. I went and I told her what I heard while I was waiting for a cab. I had no vehicle anywhere. I'm telling you
can
my
you
own
see now?
story.
Bishop,
Let me finish now.
Let
can
him
you repeat
finish.
that? I missed something, sir. Can you repeat that, sir?
You didn't miss
No, you
anything.
are
We all heard
Bishop.
it.
You are echoing something he had said because he's in favor of the love
Yeah,
at
we don't
first
want to
sight.
waste time by repeating what we know we all heard.
But the point I am making is this. When I told her that, see what I heard, though, I don't know where this is coming from, but it's up to you to either accept what I have said or reject it. And I left. There was no relationship before, there was no relationship after. As a matter of fact, she left Nigeria and went to New York. I was living in New York. I didn't see her again until maybe a year plus later. And she came back looking for that brother who told her something like this. Today, she has 5 children for me. The youngest of my kids is about 21 years.
Bishop, don't intimidate us with that fact. Don't try and intimidate us.
All right. So Bishop, so the story is to illustrate that.
It is what I'm just saying in effect is that it can happen. I did it, it was not love at first sight. My
Explain.
case, my case was not even love. My case was trying to
Bishop,
follow
we are on the
an
same page
inward.
today.
But
Oh,
Bishop, okay, so you are not talking about love at first sight. Then that is what
That is
you're
it.
saying.
That's what
no,
he
no,
had
hold
just
on.
explained.
No, hold on. Yes, because my
That was
own
it.
was
That was
just,
it.
I was just following a leading in my spirit,
Right.
Okay.
and it worked
Yeah.
out that way. Of course, it's not
Yeah.
hatred. It was not hatred. It was not hatred at first sight.
All right.
Can you see
Okay.
now?
What do we see, Shaya? We there's nothing new there. We already said that these things happen, right? So
See,
the thing is, that's the problem.
see.
You know what I
Should
explained,
I,
that when
should
you
I?
have an idea in your mind, you start going on it. You have this idea in
No,
your
that
mind,
is.
but we are
Wait,
saying
let
that it
me.
doesn't happen.
Should I tell you? Should I tell you my own story?
Shaya, we already know your story. I said it even without you telling me, because don't have an idea in your mind and then start working on it.
No,
Your
wait.
idea
Should
in
I
your
tell you my
mind.
story? How do you? You don't even
Your
know my
idea in
story.
your mind, share your idea. Allow me. Your idea is that these people don't believe that it happens, but that is wrong. Nobody has
No,
said
that's
that.
no. That's not my idea.
Okay.
Okay.
There
Allow
you
him.
were
Let him
wrong,
tell us his idea.
and you are
We,
wrong.
we have
And
time.
I want Reverend, I want Bishop to hear me now. What I'm saying in essence is this: that though it's more logical to toe the line of thorough courtship, all those known facts that Bishop have just explained now,
Mm.
it is more logical. But I'm saying that we should give some little degree
So
of
what?
caveat for
I
some
agree with you.
people that
I
may
agree with you.
likely jump that and still have a good relationship. That's just my point. But I'm
I
not
agree with you
But,
saying
but that's
completely.
a non-starter, because
uh,
we know that that is life. That is the same thing with everything in life. You start
no, that's what
something.
I've been saying. You know, when I was saying it that you guys didn't get it, I said I'm waiting for Bishop. Because in my inner man, I've told him that me and Bishop we're going to be on the same page today.
He's
And
not on the same page with you.
yeah,
He's not on the same page with you. Don't be mistaken.
he
See,
is.
so
He's
I
Okay,
want
I'm
to
on the
ask
same page
Bishop
with
a
him.
question.
I'm on the same page with him. Even if it's not on my page, I'm on the same
I
page.
want to ask Bishop a question because there was something Uzo had highlighted, which I thought was interesting, and I'd like your take on it,
Yeah, tells by Vicky.
which is the fact that when you heard a voice, you had your conviction based on your Christian leaning and your relationship with God that this was the woman for you. Now, she may have met whatever standards, I don't know, that you were seeking in a partner.
I didn't have
But
standards, but go ahead.
okay,
You
you did have
see?
standards.
You
So,
see?
but for that other person, even if you maybe because of your religious leaning and leading, because you were led, as you said, to go to her and tell her, I was led that you are my wife. Where is the place of her own? Didn't she need to also have the same kind of conviction that you had? Is it enough that only one party feels a certain way about the other?
Okay, okay. Very good question. Very good point. You see, what we notice in the church, a lot of which I've heard Ozo in our private conversations zero in on, is that sometimes, like everything in life, even prophecies are abused. A lot of people take the word of God out of context and use the word of God to achieve their selfish purposes. But a lot of times it backfires. Because you see, if you watch my flow of thought, I told you, when I felt so, I took the ball to her court and I left her, not putting any pressure, not trying to, of course, I couldn't even convince her because I wasn't working. She was she's a, although we left universities at about the same time, but I was out there. She was in a structured environment. So what money can I even present? But the issue is, this is how I feel. This is what I heard. It may not be agreeable with you, but consider it. And I left it at that. I told you that she left Nigeria, left her banking job, and went to New York. Decided to relocate. But the thing kept coming back to her. In fact, she
Mm.
ran into lots of crises in New York. that she now came back again, now began to look for me. I had even left Lagos. I had left, and I left Abuja. So the point I'm making is she had her own time to go through the processes of either accepting or rejecting this, as it were,
Proposal.
proposition.
Mm.
And due to the dealings of God in her life, it made sense to accept the proposition. And I want you to know that I had nothing to offer that should make her accept the proposition. I didn't have any car. I didn't have any house. I wasn't even having any business at that point in time. And this thing I'm telling you is about 32 or 33 years ago. Yeah? So, but what we notice is that some people, twist people, like a more experienced brother, can come to a younger lady in the church and tell her God said, and literally force her into accepting him.
Good.
And somewhere along the line, because it was not the dealings of God. Now, let me say this, and please take it seriously.
Yeah.
It is this, my wife, that taught me things like table manners, things like carrying yourself well, don't slouch, don't throw your legs anyhow, learn how to manage yourself. I didn't think that those things mattered, but she began to teach me. In fact, she used to tell me that there is a place called finishing schools in Switzerland. Because this lady I'm telling you studied 5 European languages, went to school in Grenoble, went to ISI, went to University of Lagos. So she was a highly polished person, high society type. And here comes this brother. But the other side of it is that God helped me that I was willing to listen to at least learn.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
And then,
important.
yes, and second point, part of what I am teaching today is that the Nigerian church is failing in an aspect. We are not taking into cognizance that that's what is called socialization processes. If you check, most of us that were first sons, we are sons of low-income people, first set of graduates in our families. But if you come to the female side, most of the girls that were in our fellowships were daughters of first generation university graduates in their homes. So here comes the daughter of maybe a medical doctor and the son of a farmer or the son of a headmaster. Now, our society in Nigeria, we are not as organized as maybe England,
Very
or
important.
where there is clear upper class, middle class, and lower class. Now, most of the marriages that are failing here, from my study, I do a lot of study, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I see that the greatest problem is the differences in class exposure.
Outlook in life, eh?
That's that is the manifestation.
Yeah.
The manifestation is simply that the girl has a certain exposure, the guy is crude and raw. Yeah. When the girl is talking about buying something like what do you call it, chocolates?
Or doing something for the children, and he will consider it a luxury.
Exactly. So what are you talking about? You want to use diaper. Why can't you use napkin? What are you trying to show? That you come from a wealthy home or what? And there becomes contentions.
You've brought in a beautiful angle.
And those things are happening because the guy comes from a social strata that is nowhere. And the girl comes from a strata that is maybe second or third level in,
Worlds apart.
yeah, worldview, yes. when the man is
or,
talking
or
about
vice versa, even sometimes.
yes, now vice versa, it happens both ways.
Mhm.
When the man is talking about saving money, we need to build a house, we need to buy a car. These are statutes or these are things that define success. The girl doesn't know what you mean. She's always had a car all her life. She's always had houses. So why
Exactly.
would your success be defined by having a car, having a house? And wahala starts. So a lot of times, even if the God is in it from the beginning, these differences break the process. And it looks like the will of God is not working, but it's not God. It is a failure of man.
Yes. I
I
think
had
what
lots, I had
yeah.
lots of issues in adjusting to this, but the difference was that I am teachable somehow, to some extent.
Hmm.
She's complaining about me, but to some extent, I am teachable.
Yes.
I, I,
Thank you. Thank you for sharing,
yeah,
Bishop. Uzo, no,
yeah.
just to say that um, as much as we're trying to de-emphasize the love at first sight slogan
Right.
because of the impressionable people out there,
Yeah,
so that
inherent, yes,
think that this is how it happens or this is how it should happen and put
always.
themselves under unnecessary pressures. And also because a lot of the feelings that people, all that adrenaline, dopamine rush, all that feel good factor, they might be enough to kickstart things. But
Mhm.
for the in the long
In
haul,
the long run.
can they sustain a
Yeah, so
relationship?
sure.
And I think
Yes,
that's where the place of what you said, because you and your wife got to know each other. You got to learn certain things about her, and then because you were really interested in this person, you adjusted and learned certain things. At some point, because of how I grew up, I was pressing toothpaste like from the middle. I did not know anything. But
serious problems.
my wife complained that no,
Yes,
press it from under,
yes,
under the tube. And for me, it's a no-brainer. If this means it didn't mean anything to me, but if it means something to her and I care about her, I will
exactly,
adjust accordingly. It's the same thing about sits up, toilet sits down. Little things
exactly,
like,
Right.
but those things you only get to know when you are not when you've already made the
Commitment.
commitment from the beginning. It has to be this person. No, you give yourself time. Yes, there are things that you saw about this person that you liked and you felt good. That is all well and good and very welcome. But
Hello.
the
Hello.
caveat should be try also to learn to know each other better so that you can see whether you are compatible on all these different fronts. That's just what I wanted to say. I know
Uh,
Shaya wants to say something. Shaya hasn't spoken.
yeah,
Please, also,
Tony.
yeah.
Tony, in all fairness, relationship, it is like 10% spirituality. Every other one is more physical. No matter how born again you are, you're going to face the physical
yes,
part in relationship. But
yes,
I want to
yes,
believe that the reunion or the union or the contact, most times they are not just mere coincidence. I can tell you my own. I love what Bishop have said, but let me quickly give you a name to my own. We met at the university, blah blah blah. We like okay, fine girl and
Very quickly,
everything.
because we don't have a lot of time. So very, very short.
Yes, I'm coming. There's a point I want to drive at. I am not the typical born again, no, like a reverend, no, like bishop, oh no. I have girlfriends and everything. And then when she came in, okay, I was basically about her, alone. But one thing happened. I was sweeping in my room, in my hostel, and I heard it was obvious that that is your wife. When I heard that word, I changed my orientation changed immediately. And I went to her and I told her, I said, there's something I want to tell you, but I know you will not believe me. She didn't believe, and I was, at some point she was asking me.
You go
The day I
for
told
her.
her, the day I told her, she was laughing and said, "Is that not the common line that you use for all the girls?" And now let me shock you. Now when we started, she now
Who
told
are
me
you
the
shocking?
age.
Sorry, did we not decipher
I'm
this
gonna
at the
talk now.
beginning?
She
We
told me
already
the
knew
age
that this
that
story
she
was
was.
coming. And we
Come
already
on, hold
confirmed that
it.
this story is good. And Shaya
Hold
still has it
on.
in his mind.
No, allow him. I
Oh,
want to
allow
hear
me.
now. Let's hear.
So, yeah, she now said she wanted to marry at a particular age. I calculated my time in school. That by the time I serve, by the time I want to do this, you understand, that I won't be, ready. But between you and I, it happened at the exact time. You understand? We have our own ups and downs and everything, and
Shaya,
that's what I'm saying. The point is
Shaya.
the point here is this. Hold it. Let me conclude so that I've not been talking since. The point here is this: no matter what, no matter your strong belief in anything, always leave a little degree of
Shaya, you
space.
are preaching to yourself. That's why I'm shaking my head. You are preaching to
Well,
yourself.
Selling
okay.
ice
I do
to a
believe.
Eskimo.
Wait, I do believe. Like I said, it's no brainer that anybody want to subscribe to your own school of thought. That thorough. Go and check.
You don't
Even the
even need to
country. Let's
say
start
that.
with those Western countries that have compatibility books with shrink and everything. Has it been working?
You don't
With
need
their
to say
shrinks,
that.
lot of
No, no,
shrinks,
no, Shaya,
lot
you
of
don't need to
professors,
say that. You
lot
don't
of
need to
blood
say that
doctors.
because guess
Has it
what?
been working?
You don't need to say that because even a relationship counselor can have failed relationships. It is not one
Exactly my
person
point.
alone.
That's to tell you that there's no
No, that is not
symbol,
the
there's
point.
no formula. My point is
No,
there's no
there
formula
is
for all these things.
no, no, no.
What?
What we have to agree with is that we cannot control life. Why can't we agree that we can't control life?
That we can't do what?
Can I? Can I?
We
Can
cannot
I say?
control life, but it doesn't mean that we should not do
Let's hear
the
from. I want to hear
necessary.
from Bishop. Sorry, I've been jotting something down.
No, don't
Bishop
believe
has
that
been making
same
a lot of
politicking.
sense.
That's not true. Yes,
What did
Bishop,
you
Can I?
say?
please.
Can I? Okay. Can I say
Okay,
something?
Yes,
Yes.
all
Bishop,
right.
go ahead.
Okay. You see, I keep struggling with how to present it. That's my struggles. Um, the first thing I want to say, I want young men and young women to know, no matter how beautiful you are as a girl, you have to live with one man someday. Two, I want every man to also know that you need a wife. The implication of what I'm saying is this: some of us behave as if it is not a right. You will see some girls behaving as if they are going to marry maybe God or maybe Obama or some extraordinary thing. My dear, okay, for instance, there were some ladies I had liked when we were in the university, and they got married. And part of what I think when I see them today is, so what? The guys are not necessarily better financially or finer or in any sense. So what was all that guy for?
They were not led. They were not led by the Spirit.
No, no, no. It's not even about spirit. You see, what I'm trying to address is that let young people realize, let them know that you got to marry somebody. So it was Bob Dylan that sang a song. You have to. You just have to marry someone.
I think you're opening you're opening another kind of worms, and I can feel
Yeah,
it in the spirit.
yeah. You see, you have to marry someone. Now,
Okay.
if we can all agree in this one, then the issue becomes is as simple as navigating to who exactly will I marry. It will
Okay.
help to douse. It will help to douse a lot of tension.
I'd like to
Don't
add something quickly before we
don't be anxious Don't be overtly anxious. Why? Because it is a right for you to have a wife. Don't be overtly anxious, girl, because some man will come. It's a matter of when is he coming and who is it. So
Okay.
once you can bring it down, it first of all dissolves certain tension. Because it's just like trying to open a boiling pot. You open it, it's so hot, you drop it. But if you use something and hold the pot with, you can conveniently open that hot pot and do what you got to do. So the first thing I want to address in society is calm down. You're not listen.
Calm
Why are you
down.
not
Very important. Calm
take it
down.
easy? Take it easy. You have a right to marry him. The fact that you are desiring to marry is in place. Igbo people say in a boss army chaka ineko yenikuko. Why all the hurry?
Okay. Because we're out of time, and I just
No,
want
no,
to
no,
quickly
no. Let him interpret that. We need to hear that. What's the meaning of that?
exactly what he said. Calm down. Is that are you running and talking on your fingers, right?
Yeah,
Licking the soup while running. We're out
yeah.
of time, and I
Don't be
need to just
anxious.
quickly say this. So, Shaya, nobody here, not Tony, not I, none of us is saying that it doesn't happen and work in cases. But we
Why are
have to
you
refuse.
addressing me? Why are
We
you
have to.
addressing me?
We
I
have
thought
to
we are
refuse.
concluding this thing.
We have to refuse. Telling people that they don't that they should just relax and because it happens.
Nobody's
Because
saying that.
I actually had a
Nobody's
note
saying
before we started that
calm down.
people who have experienced this, right?
Calm down. Calm down.
Unfortunately, go out
Um,
into the world and tell people yes, 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 yes. The thing is that is only half the statement. The other half is that it worked for you and this person because myself and him, our personalities managed to make it happen. It managed to work for
Yes.
us. And then you said spirituality is 10% of relationships. Relationships are really more of spirituality and energy.
no, no,
And
no. Wait. I said
physical
don't mix it up. That wasn't what I said.
Okay.
In the home, I was referring to the home management,
okay.
home front.
Okay.
Do you get
And
Okay.
now?
then I wanted to say I should quickly share a story
Noted. Noted.
before we close,
Uh-huh.
right? Because and
No,
I want to just break it down to 1 minute or two. So
okay.
I have so many messages of people who ended up in marriage like this. That's why it's weighing heavily on me. People who ended up in marriage like this because somebody had said, and particularly the man had said, right? And that is when a woman has found herself in a situation and this man has come to help her out of it, or the other way around, right? The last one being a guy who went to school somewhere and the lady helped him out of the situation that he found himself. And then people begin to interpret it as okay, the life must have thrown us together for this reason, right? And even when they knew that they didn't want to get into a marriage, they just felt like, oh, everything is telling me. Everything does not tell you anything. We still have a brain, which we have to use. Because you are seeing that I really don't want to get into this marriage, but you feel as if it's outside of you because everything else is telling you. We have to always come back to that. There's nothing that you should do without your due diligence, you know. So I don't subscribe to preaching that luck happens. Luck happens with everything, but it doesn't mean that we don't do our own part. You see what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and you make that decision. And at the end of the day, I'm not even saying that it means that it'll be 100% right, because we can do all our due diligence, do everything, and we still get there. And at the end of the day, right? But that means, but at least you have given it your best. That's what I would
Okay.
say.
Also, I think we can take a last word from everyone on this topic.
I've given
Um,
mine.
Prof, what will be your last word on this topic in 1 minute?
Well, my last word is have faith, trust that God is interested in your life. Being that God is interested, He will help you. I think I want to leave it that way.
Okay. I took calm down before. I took that as well.
Well, it's yes, it's
It's
in fact
linked.
it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's linked. Okay. Shaya, thank you, Bishop. Shaya, your last word, please.
I think we already know Shaya's last word.
That's why you asking.
Let's
Do you know the meaning of last? What's the meaning of last word? You're about to sleep. You're asking for my last word. What is that
on
supposed to
this
mean?
topic, on this topic.
Okay, on this topic, it's as
Yes.
simple as it can be. The Like I've said before, there's no formula to all these things, but it's so good for you to do your own work. Yes, it is so good. It's just like people saying, I must go to university, from university and a good degree, and then those are parameters for good success. He has maybe perhaps they have worked in the past is no longer applicable. So there's this thing about this world. It evolves, it changes, So I'm only saying, do you whatever works for you. But one thing is certain, you need the superior guidance. Maybe your ancestors, maybe your belief system, whatever. Once they are guiding you, they're gonna. I mean, and again, one thing that I want to say now, that you are doing everything right does not guarantee success. It could be very disheartening that, like, I've seen people that, like, I got married as a virgin, my husband
We're
too
not
was a
God.
virgin, and everything. We are church people, and they lost it.
We're not
You
God.
understand? It's so disheartening. So there are these things. This is just the way I want to be. Like, okay, let's just try it in our own angle and leave everything to God. So doing diligent work, following formula could be another disaster in making. You just do your bit, rest on God, and rest on nature too. That's just my takeaway.
All right. Thank you, Shaya. I mean, from everything that we have said, Uzo, my
No,
last
don't use
words would
everything, just
be
say your own.
my, my last words would be that, I mean, we listen to Bishop's experience. Who can dispute another man's experience? We listen to Shaya's experience. You can't dispute that. So,
She
yes.
disputed that. She challenged mine.
So,
Yes.
love at first sight is possible. People have reported it, people have experienced it. And so it's important to allow ourselves feel that, all that emotion. But my caveat would always be to allow ourselves some time to get to know each other. The partners should allow themselves time to get to know each other better and develop. I wrote something down, build relationships based on genuine connection, not just a fleeting feeling, not just euphoria, on genuine connection, on shared values and mutual respect. And then one thing Uzo had said that is very important, we need to also be mindful of the other person, because it should not be just about what I want, the convictions that I have. We should allow the other person to also reach that conviction on their own, which is not possessing. Bishop summed it up well because he came, he said what he felt. Let um, the woman come to that place by herself, because it's very important that both sides get to that place on their own. That's the only criteria for a relationship to be sustainable, that the two parties involved know that they really, really want this, take time to learn
Mm,
about
mm.
themselves, know that they really want it, and invest in making it work. I will end there, Uzo.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing I can add to it with the last thing that you said. That just it perfectly. So it's a union of two people, and the two of them must be convinced on both sides. And I should never, ever, ever try to make that other person begin to consider what I want. I want the relationship. Leave it to them completely, right? And they should leave me alone too, completely by myself. So that's it perfectly. All right. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, our audience. Tales by VK, Explore with Meg. Thank you, guys, for keeping us company. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing. your opinions. Thank you, Sheye. As much as you tried to force me to disagree
Yes,
with the
doing you for
possibility.
you.
Is he doing emo for me? Emo?
Yes.
Shreya, you can never get me to disagree with the fact that it worked for some people, but I would never ever encourage anyone that comes near me. Yes, just go for it.
You
You
don't
know.
fight nature.
So, exactly. Exactly. So what are we talking about? All right, thank you. And so
You
with
don't
that,
fight
Bye.
have a
nature.
good
You want
evening.
Good
Enjoy
night,
the rest of your
everybody.
evening. Bye bye.
Good night. Yes.
the
Right.
Tony, good night.
Share. Oh,
What?
we're still live, so let me end
Okay, okay,
before we start the
okay,
boxing, eh? I know that's all you want.
okay, okay.